can I play offline?
You cannot. There are no NPCs. We don't want it to be griefy, but we want to have some drama there.
A lot of people are wondering, that's obviously in an online environment. How is that going to be accomplished?
Still there.
Okay,
it's real time. We love mods. We will not be able to do that at launch, though. You'll be able to have your own private world and be able to mod it and do all of that. Definitely committed to that, just won't be at launch.
Yep.
Our goal for launch, this is really new for us, is have a well-running, robust service. It still works great.
Yep.
It's different. There are no NPCs.
Let's talk about Fallout 76. Fallout 76 will have no NPCs, no offline play, no private servers or mods at launch. It won't have a lot of things that a core Bethesda Fallout game is supposed to have. And even when we do get private servers and mods, I think it's safe to assume a solo world is going to be pretty barren, as there wouldn't be any NPCs, and the focus of the game definitely seems to be populating it with other players. Bethesda wants the roles of NPCs to be supplanted by players.
Correct, because they will be the other people, the other characters in the world. But the extent to which you interact with them, you would interact with them no differently than you'd interact with, it shouldn't matter whether it's a character that the game is controlling, that we've predetermined to do something and said, oh, this guy will attack the player when it comes into this area, or this guy will trade with the person. It's up to the players to do that.
So Fallout 76 is not a traditional entry in the series. It is not Fallout 5. It, like Elder Scrolls Online, is a foray of one of Bethesda's IPs into a new style of game. As I said, we aren't getting Fallout 5. This isn't another full installment of Fallout. This is something that Bethesda wants to work on somewhat on the side while they make their bigger projects like Starfield, The Elder Scrolls 6. So this new style of game for Fallout 76 seems to be a heavy focus on multiplayer, base building, and survival, making it seem like it'll be in the company of games like Rust and Ark. Though I am really hesitant to say that because it will still be filled with Fallout themes, and I don't think a strict comparison to those kinds of games is going to be productive moving forward. In most of the world building, themes, lore, motifs, it will still obviously be a Fallout game. And while it won't have a lot of the ways those things were built up, like through NPCs, it will still have quests and world building through found items and discovered locations like previous titles.
Yeah.
But there are still robots and terminals and holotapes. If you see a lot of the quests we do in Fallout 4 that are kind of this found world quest thing, we still do all of that.
Of the few Fallout lore videos I've done, a lot of it has been not NPCs, but items and terminals and pieces of history like that. Though it generally was supplanted by NPCs, maybe other players will be able to fill that role. And I'm especially hesitant to group it with other survival games, because both Todd Howard and Pete Hines have somewhat repeatedly stated that they don't want griefing to be a thing.
We don't want it to be griefy, but we want to have some drama there.
People can't grief you. They can't keep coming after you and killing you over and over every time you respawn. The game literally doesn't let you do that.
And they don't want you to feel like you're constantly losing your base or getting destroyed. And that is a constant theme in those games. If you've never played Rust, let me tell you, it's a constant sine wave of ups and downs, of having absolutely nothing going into having a full-fledged out base with all the gear in the game, back to nothing, back to a base, back to nothing, etc. So it does not seem like this Fallout game is going to be like that, as Pete Hines and Todd Howard have also said that it's still going to have RPG elements where you can build up your character, build up your stats. I don't know if we're going to have perks, but maybe build up your perks.
It's supposed to be a role-playing game. You have a character, you have stats and abilities, you're leveling up, you're getting better at stuff.
So you won't lose all your progress when you leave the game. I don't know how the base building is going to work. I don't know if they're going to let you take your base with you when you go. But if we take what Todd and Pete said to be true, then they will have countermeasures to prevent griefers and people from killing you over and over and making the online experience a terrible one. And I think we do have some reason to believe them, because obviously in the past there has been variable amounts of truths when they've talked about their new upcoming games. However, with this game, they're being very upfront about the kind of game it is and how it's not a proper Fallout. Even if they aren't saying it's not a proper Fallout, all of the things they are saying are very clear in establishing the game as a different kind of game, and they are saying that. So I think it's somewhat justifiable to assume some truth in what they're saying. So we still have Starfield and The Elder Scrolls 6 before we get Bethesda making another proper Fallout game, and that was pretty expected because we got Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Fallout. So we're not going to get Fallout, Elder Scrolls. We're going to get Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Fallout. So that means the next mainstream Fallout game, if it isn't contracted to another studio like New Vegas was, is going to be coming after Elder Scrolls 6, which is probably going to be in like the mid-2020s, that's quite a ways away. So because there really wasn't any reason to expect a brand new, fully fledged Fallout game right now, we should continue in that mindset of not expecting a fully fledged Fallout game. It's better to view this game as what it is, Bethesda trying out a new game type through the Fallout universe. Again, like Elder Scrolls Online. So unfortunately, the people that would only really enjoy a traditional solo Fallout game probably won't like this game too much. And that's totally respectable and fine. If that part of Fallout is your thing, that makes sense that you're not going to want a survival online experience. However, to what I think is going to be the majority of people, just because this game isn't a traditional Fallout game doesn't mean it's going to be a bad game and doesn't mean it's something that we can't enjoy. So if you're on the fence about this game, even if you're not somebody that only enjoys a traditional solo Fallout game, that makes total sense and it's completely okay for you to do that. Once we get some actual gameplay shown and we get to understand the actual mechanics of it, we can continue to form our opinions. But I don't think the fact that this isn't a traditional solo Fallout game makes this a bad game or something that can't be a lot of fun. Especially if Bethesda does a really good job of this, then they have another type of game that they can make at their disposal. So we'll see. At the very least, it'll be an online game with some Fallout aspects, which is pretty cool. There'll probably be enough to make a couple lore videos out of it, so I'll be happy on that account. That's essentially everything I had to say. That we should give this game a chance, but not as a traditional Fallout game, not as a fully fledged flagship title from Bethesda, because it isn't that. And if we expect that, we're going to be disappointed. But it might be a pretty good game. So I'm willing to wait to see, and I hope you are too. Thanks for watching.